Before the video starts, I just want to say that this many people aren't subscribed to the channel, so on the off chance that you are one of those people, make sure to subscribe if you enjoy the content, as it really helped me out. Anyways, enjoy. Hey guys, it's Phantom here, and welcome back to a brand new video, everyone, where in today's video, I am going to be talking about the fact that Dragonspire as a world is criminally underrated. Alright, I guess it's not so much of a fact as it is my own opinion, but I really do think it's true. And I hope that you will allow me to tell you why. But first, I'd like to tell you all about why I personally think this world gets a little bit of a bad rap. Honestly, probably a worse rap than most, despite being pretty undeserving of it in most aspects, in my opinion. Basically, I feel like the thing that people get constantly hung up on regarding the world of Dragonspire is the fact that the world isn't the most aesthetically pleasing. You know, it doesn't look very nice. Kind of an eyesore in some places. And you know, I will say that that is definitely a fair criticism to make. However, I feel as though people let that one aspect of the world completely dominate their experience and overall perception of said world. And I mean, can you really blame them? The appearance of a world is no doubt extremely important. I mean, while you're questing throughout the world, it's all that is around you. It's pretty much constantly flung into your face from the moment you enter the world. So, once again, I can't blame people for overlooking some of the better aspects of this world, as the appearance of it, you know, as a trait, is no doubt utterly domineering in the face of everything else about it, on the surface. However, I think it's pretty stupid if you let one aspect of a world completely terminate any positive feelings that you might have had for the world. Otherwise, you know, if things were different. Which brings me to the point of this video, highlighting some aspects about the world of Dragonspire that I feel need to be appreciated a lot more. And now, I'm not saying that you have to love everything about this world. Please don't think I'm saying that. I literally just spent the entire intro of this video telling you guys your opinions are valid. And by the way, I would never try to force people into liking the same things that I do, especially when it comes to this game, but all I ask is that you hear me out and you keep an open mind. Anywho, on that note, I would like to discuss the first aspect of Dragonspire that I think often gets overlooked by the masses, and that is the rich and complex backstory of the world itself. Dragonspire's backstory, in all honesty, is one of my favorites out of all the worlds, and that's for several reasons. For one, it parallels Wizard cities in a lot of aspects, taking the form of a headmaster founding an academy in which magic is taught to its students, except with a lot more war involved, etc., etc. Kings overthrown, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to get into the details too much, as that would make this video super long, but I do want to say that one of my most favorite parts about Dragonspire's backstory is the tragedy behind why the world is the way it is, and why it looks the way it does. Essentially, what befell the world was the summoning of the Dragon Titan and its army by Vladimir Darkflame, the Dean of Admissions at Dragonspire, in a show of power. And yes, I'm sure that name sounds very familiar to anyone who actually has quested through Dragonspire. Vladimir himself is a super cool character, honestly, and I feel like his backstory and how it ties in with the rest of Dragonspire as a whole just makes him even cooler. But anyways, getting back to the main backstory of the world itself, what ends up happening is this Titan is summoned, and the Lords of Dragonspire soon figure out that they can't control such a being, and soon after they figure that out, right, after their feeble attempts to assume even some control over this creature, Eventually, the world itself is bathed in fire, and unfortunately, a large majority of the population of Dragonspire ends up dying. And the once beautiful, thriving world essentially becomes a barren wasteland, home to only monstrous creatures and the spirits of the doomed, which I think is super compelling because what we're seeing when we enter the world of Dragonspire is essentially a husk of what the world used to be, just a sad reflection of what there once was. So, of course, the world has an incredible backstory that I feel like helps you appreciate the almost universally hated aesthetic of the world, which, in my opinion, definitely still is the world's worst trait. However, I feel like understanding how the world came to be like that lessens the load just a bit more, so to speak. And all in all, the looks of the world don't bother me quite as much because of that fact. But alright, enough about the backstory of the world. Let us talk about the story that we personally experience as we go through it on our wizards. And spoiler alert, I'm a big fan of this story as well. Basically, what ends up happening is our wizards need to get to Malistaire somehow, obviously. And the way we do this is through acquiring certain portal stones that work to give us access to the portals that lead to the different rings / areas that make up the world of Dragonspire. However, in order to acquire these portal stones, we have to undergo lots of different tests that are each performed in order to ensure that we are quote-unquote worthy of these stones, in the eyes, of course, of the people of Dragonspire. And these tests pretty much take the form of learning strategy and defense in battle, gaining knowledge concerning the history of Dragonspire, and just battling fearsome foes in general to, of course, prove your knowledge and strength to your dead teachers. I don't exactly know why, but I find it especially cool that in order to accomplish the goal that you set out to complete in the first place in Dragonspire, you pretty much have to become a student / soldier of some kind of Dragonspire, in order to make a place for yourself inside of the academy, which in turn brings you closer to Malistaire. It's like you get the opportunity to live that kind of life inside of the world in which that life no longer exists for anyone anymore. That no longer really can exist because of what happened so long ago. It's kind of beautiful, actually. And this might just be me imagining things, but when you're reading the dialogue from all of the different NPCs that sort of function as your teachers, you can tell that they're simply happy to have someone to teach because it's been so long, and they're proud of you for what you accomplish while you're being taught. It kind of melts your heart a little bit. A lot of the Dragonspire NPCs actually turn out to be chill as fuck after you show them what you're capable of, and I think that's awesome. Kind of reminds me of a certain bald boy that we all know and love, or at least came to know and love, which brings me to the next reason as to why I love this world so much, and that is, of course, Cyrus's arc. As I'm sure we all know by now, upon meeting us for the first time and long after, Cyrus was not too fond of us, as he seems to have a certain dislike for new students, and my guess is we weren't too fond of him either. And this relationship pretty much persisted all the way up until the very end of Dragonspire, which I think was absolutely masterfully done. Because since he had had a particular disdain for us going all the way back to the beginning of the game, it made the moment in which he admitted he was wrong about us all the more special and sweet. Because if you think about it, Cyrus has obviously been troubled by his brother for a very long time, ever since Sylvia's death, of course, ever since, Malistaire went totally off the rails. And it's safe to say that his brother had been a persistent problem for quite a while, and to have a student who you initially didn't like very much be the one to finally give your insane, grief-driven brother the long rest he deserves, while saving the spiral at the exact same time? Well, it makes total sense that his mind was completely changed. And, of course, all that together just makes him a really compelling, great character, in my opinion. And last, but certainly not least, I think we need to talk about this world's main villain, Malistaire, of course. Holy shit, what a character he is. Hands down my favorite villain in this game, and I'm sure you've heard me talk about him in many, many videos at this point, but I just have to mention him yet again, as he is an integral part of why this world is as great as it is. I seriously believe that the first iteration of Malistaire, meaning, the human version that exists all the way up until the end of Dragonspire, is the best version, of that character. And I might go into why I think KI ruined his story a little bit with the addition of him in Azteca and Darkmoor in another video, but since the version we see in Dragonspire is the first iteration of that character, we're only going to be talking about that version. And oh boy, is he great. I think what really strengthens his motivations and overall story is the fact that the man is insanely human. Just human to his very core. As his motivation for causing destruction and chaos throughout the worlds of the spiral is to obtain power in order to resurrect his dead wife. The fact that he went to such great lengths to try to bring her back is just such a testament to how much he loved her in the first place and the overall depth of his character, and it just makes for a heartbreaking narrative. One that has probably tugged on my heartstrings more than any other storyline in this game, which is saying a lot because there are a lot of really good storylines in this game that tug on your heartstrings. Additionally, I've always been of the mind that the best villains are the heroes of their own story, and I think Malistaire showcases that archetype beautifully, because in his mind, he did absolutely nothing wrong, and he doesn't understand why people are trying to stop him. To him, he's just a man trying to do a good deed and get his wife back because of the deep sense of loss that he feels. And truly, there's nothing wrong with his intentions. What's wrong is the way he navigates them. And all in all, that's a really powerful thing, and the makings of a great villain and character. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much all the time that I have for this video, so I really hope you guys did enjoy, and if you did, you could always leave a like on the video, as I'd appreciate it a lot, and it really helped me out. Also, let me know in the comments down below if I changed your mind a bit about the world of Dragonspire by opening you up to some of its amazing lore and world building. And if I didn't, well, that's okay too. I honestly just appreciate you watching. And with all that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video, so take care and peace out, everyone.